Hi, I'm Nadia Dunn. Welcome to CCL TV. TV made by the industry for the industry. But who are CCL? Well, CCL are an independent and neutral third-party logistics service provider and custom clearance specialist. From e-concept to e-logistics for e-commerce, CCL has the e-solution. Joining me today is Dan March, a returning visitor to the CCL TV platform. He's the CEO at WCA World. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dan. How are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again and excited to do another recording with you.
Yes, it's lovely to have you. And maybe next time we'll even do it in person.
Well, there's talk of us doing something actually physical with CCL coming up at our conference in Dublin, so that would be great.
Yes, we'll talk about that a bit later actually as well. But just for any new audience members that we have, tell us a bit about you, a bit about WCA World and what you do there.
Sure. I'm the CEO of WCA World, which is an organisation, a network of independent freight forward and logistics companies from around the world. We have 10,500 member offices around the world now in pretty much every country of the world. We are the biggest and we have been going just about the longest of any freight forwarding network. And we're just all very proud of our network and the benefits we bring to the members and the superb work our members do within the network.
So yeah, and I bet to be that big and have that many members, your IT focus and everything else must be on point to maintain the growth and everything of your members as well as WCA World.
Yeah, holding information about what's going on in the industry and members, so we can recommend members to each other is vital. When an agent comes to us and says we need to find a partner in another country, say in Canada, we know our members, but also we can rely on our database to know what their skills are, what their specialties are, whether they have warehousing, whether they have trucks, whether they have cold storage, whatever. So yeah, easy access to information is key, and obviously communicating is key. And the way we all communicate is changing a little bit. We're all very used to this now, talking on a screen, but also, the stuff we're doing with broadcasts and social media and so on will only become more important, I think, as time goes on, and as the younger generation take over in our industry, which in all industries needs to happen.
Absolutely, that digital world is just getting bigger and bigger, and as you say, as younger people are coming into the industry, that would just grow.
Yeah, we really see it, certainly in parts of the world where before, we used to do a lot of stuff by paper, post stuff out. We do all that digitally now, and young people in certain countries are forming their own groups in digital environments, whether it be on a simple WhatsApp group or whether it's something more sophisticated. I don't think anyone under the age of 30, I think they probably see emails like we used to see letters or faxes. They see email as a bit slow and old-fashioned, and
yeah,
that's not the way they communicate. So I guess going forward, we need to be on point with how people are communicating.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, us being 21 and 25, I guess, we're down with the kids, right, Dan?
Well, exactly. I was more referring to the older people.
Now, what does WCA World offer its members that, competing against other networks? Why is it the best?
I think there's a number of factors. First of all, it was the passion and commitment of our founder, who went out and traveled the world to find the best companies in each country to bring into the network and worked really hard to establish a coherent network where people were working together. Some of the things we introduced were really important. The Gold Medallion financial protection is vital. That allows members to work with complete peace of mind with each other. So if one agent doesn't pay the other partner, we pay. So they don't have to credit check each other. They don't have to, check that they're a legitimate company. They know that if they're in their group, we've already audited them and we will financially protect any transactions on the freight between them. So that profit share thing is easy because you don't worry that the partner, you're not going to get the money at the end of the shipment. That's really important. Partner pay, talked about technology. That's our payment system, our online payment system, where members can pay each other for free. No banking fees, no exchange rate fees, no exchange rate markup. It's instant and can be matched to invoices. So literally a minute after you pay, your partner can see the money in their account and match it up to the invoice, and neither of you are going to pay the sometimes rather exorbitant wire transfer fees, which is still a large part of our business. So that saves some members thousands or tens of thousands in banking fees a year.
And a lot of it, I guess it sounds like peace of mind and that security that there's something to fall back on.
Exactly. I mean, it's all our jobs. Really, two things. It's to make members' lives easier and make doing business easier for them, and to make them more secure when they're doing their business. As well as bringing in new products that they can use. Obviously, we have a range of networks covering different specialties, from e-commerce to pharma to time critical to dangerous goods and a few others. And we provide specialist benefits to each of those groups. Our staff, we have dedicated staff to each of those groups that are really effective in seeing new ideas, seeing new products that could help the network and bringing them into the network. So and the other thing is our meetings. I mean, as much as we all in some cases enjoyed 2 years of online meetings, for a large scale meeting where you need to meet a lot of people at once and do a lot of business, there is still nothing like face to face, I'm afraid, for meetings. As much as technology can aid, you still really do need to get to know the person that you're forming a partnership with on a personal level. And our meetings allow members to find new partners, generate new business, reinforce old partnerships, and also enjoy the company, because it's quite a social we're in. Our forwarders, our members certainly work hard and play hard, and enjoy the good things, which enjoy traveling and meeting new people from all around the world, and creating new opportunities or partnerships. It's part of the fun part of the job, for sure.
And do you see that the future is going to be this kind of hybrid way of events and meetings, in person, keeping the digital aspect there?
I think it's important that we don't jump back to the way we were. It's very easy to go, okay, coronavirus seems to be on the wane or over now, let's just go back to exactly the way we are, without learning any of the lessons we've quickly had to learn over the last 2 years. So we are holding another virtual conference next week, actually, our Sino International Conference, which has again had really good attendance despite physical meetings starting, partly because China still has strict travel restrictions, and there's a lot of business in China, and our members still want to meet Chinese agents even though they can't physically meet them. But also, I think people have come to accept that yes, physical meetings are fantastic, but not everyone can afford the time and the expense to travel 3 or 4 or 5 meetings per year to all around the world, with airfares and costs, and a virtual meeting is cheaper to participate in, because you obviously don't have the huge overheads of putting on a physical meeting, but still allows them to pre-arrange their meetings and meet who they want to do. So yes, going forward, we don't expect to stop doing virtual meetings. In Dublin, which is our event coming up in June, we thought about providing a virtual option to people who couldn't join physically. At this venue, we don't think the Wi-Fi or the IT infrastructure at the convention centre is robust enough. That's the issue always with large meetings online. You need a huge bandwidth to hold 500, 600, 700 people and 200-300 meetings going on at once individually on video. You need a really secure and high bandwidth IT infrastructure to do it. So I think that might be the challenge going forward. We'd love to be able to do meetings where people could join virtually for part of it, all of it, if they couldn't attend. I think the challenge is for venues and hotels to be able to provide the sort of IT infrastructure,
the bandwidth,
to be able to support that sort of feature. And I'm sure they're all thinking about that as well, because I'm sure we're not the only company pushing that sort of scenario.
And how is that Dublin event looking? Are you getting lots of take up on it? Are people still worrying about COVID?
Yeah, so actually we had our first physical meeting in Dubai back at the end of February, which was our first for 2 years. It was very exciting, and it was amazing to walk into that room on the first day and see 550 smiling faces. It was really was, you couldn't look at anyone and they were smiling because they were so pleased to be back in an environment where they could meet the people they've met before and made friendships with, and
to be out of the house.
And be out of the house, be back on an aeroplane. And yeah, there were a lot of smiling faces. It was a really great event. We had a lot of challenges with COVID. You know, in the lead up, things were relaxing a bit, but we weren't quite sure how much. So everyone had to test before they were allowed into the conference. We did have a very tiny handful of cases of people positive on arrival where they had to self-isolate, and one or two people actually had to, you know, miss the majority of the conference because they were isolating on arrival. But out of 550, to have one, or it may have been two people who missed some of it because of COVID, I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
And everyone else had a great time.
Yeah.
There were maybe a few more people who maybe had caught it by the time they got home. But yeah, you know, I think we're all learning a little bit to live with it now. And it was a great event. And now Dublin is certainly going to sell out from what I've seen. We put the delegate places up for registration a few weeks ago, and I think we're already at 80% sold out.
Wow.
So it's definitely going to be 700 plus delegates in Dublin.
We can't wait to be there. So yeah, really exciting times ahead. Now, something that is showing no sign of easing, unlike COVID, is the cross-border e-commerce. So what are the challenges that your members are facing there?
There's a lot of challenges our members are facing. Because it's so new and growing so fast, it's a matter of learning quickly about what they can and can't do. It's about it's not like just finding a logistics partner as in the past, or just going to find your customers, the shippers or consignees. It's now much more complex, with a whole range of digital platforms and operators in between the end customer, you, the transporter, the people taking the bookings, and people doing the selling, whether it's Amazon or an in-house shopping site or an in-house business site. There's so many more layers to it that the complexity comes in people doing little parts of it, whether it's returns, whether it's customs clearance, whether it's the transport, whether it's doing fulfillment, packing, labeling. The people who are really find their niche within it are being hugely successful. The people who approach it saying, I've heard e-commerce is growing, I really need to get into it, and say, right, I'm doing e-commerce now, I don't think I've really understood the concept, because I don't think any company, apart from maybe Amazon or someone, but I don't think any company really does the whole from producer to final customer
Whole chain,
solution. So yeah, I think it's about finding your niche, and it's about us helping members find their niche, showing them what opportunities are out there, linking them together with members who are already successful to learn from those members, what mistakes they made, what they did right, and our industry is quite good at that. You know, helping other companies within the group to not make the same mistakes, or to prosper. Maybe not with their direct competitor next door, but certainly with members that are involved in the same part of the business.
I was going to go on to the sustainability side of things. Are you hearing a lot of that from your members asking for support in that sense?
Yeah, so I think we spoke last time. We were trialing some environmental and emissions products or tools for our members to use. We're still in the trial phase. Actually, we're trialing we found 3 solutions, all of which have very good facets. We're still hoping there's something out there that draws all 3 of those great parts together. We're trialing another one next week. I would think, certainly this year we'll have something up and running for members. We've got some good options. We're just trying to make sure we pick the right option for our members. But yeah, I think COVID put the halt on the green revolution a little bit. Then as that eased and the COP summit, it really became to the fore of the news and to politicians and regulators again, and to, more importantly, to shippers and manufacturers, because they are having to comply to stricter environmental regulations, and that passes down onto their transport providers. They want that information. Europe's leading it. Other areas, parts of Asia, are certainly following. The US following a little slower, but also following. It's only really a handful of areas of the world that aren't really engaged in it yet. But I think it will be led by Europe, because that's where the regulation and the push for more green ways of doing business and transport is highest. So we need to make sure our members understand that the changes that are coming, but also give them some tools that will help them win more business at the end of the day, because they can provide accurate emissions data.
Maybe we can follow up on that actually in Dublin in June, when you've possibly done some more of your trials. So we'll catch up more so then, but that's good to know so far. So also the forums and conferences, meetings that you do, does the topic of duty drawback ever come up, and how complex does that discussion become?
It does, especially in our e-commerce meeting. Our e-commerce network has its own meeting once a year. It'll be held in Thailand in September this year. That's where we have a few days in the past of presentations and debates on challenges or parts of e-commerce that are difficult. And certainly we've had some lively discussions about duty drawback in the past. Obviously, we haven't met lately. I'm not sure where the members are now. We'll find out in September. But it's certainly a topic that will be in discussion at the next meeting.
Excellent. Well, again, let's catch up on that. It's always nice to have other things that we can go back to and find out how these things have evolved. Now, also, before we came on air, we spoke very briefly about you launching the WCA Foundation recently. So if you could tell our audience about that.
Yeah, it's something that I've been in planning for a few months. We have in the past done ad hoc charity work to aid disasters or humanitarian crisis. Quite a few years ago now, if you remember, when the tsunami hit, it hit where our headquarters is based in Thailand. The headquarters in Bangkok, but it hit the coastline, and our staff and our management put money and resources, and all of the staff went down to the coast to help in the recovery operation and to help where we could. But it was all a little ad hoc. We decided that for going forward, the foundation could really serve 2 purposes. Number one, it's now an officially regulated and registered charity. So that's important. It gives people confidence that if they're going to donate to it, that we are audited, that we are spending the money on charitable the proceeds on charitable donations for good. The second part is when we have emergencies around the world, whether they're natural disasters, wars, famines, whatever they are, a key part of it is always the logistics. It's getting the support, the aid, the emergency equipment, whatever it is, to that destination to help that population that's in dire need. So we thought the foundation could also have another secondary use in bringing those companies together and coordinating them, because with the latest Ukraine crisis, we had members from all over Europe, all over the world, in fact, but obviously especially in Poland and the neighboring countries, offering great support and solutions, but it was all individual companies trying to do their bit, but there was no coordination. So if we can bring that logistics power together and get it a bit more coordinated, then we can be a lot more effective in helping in both volume and in speed to get that urgent supplies or aid to where they need to be. So we've been working very hard the last month on the Ukraine situation. I'm very proud to say our first series of lorries, of trucks, big Arctics have left the UK this week full of aid for both Ukraine and Poland. We've supported our members in Ukraine, because we had 20 plus members in Ukraine, some of whom we couldn't get hold of. They were in Kiev and some of the areas, even some in Mariupol, which has been flattened. We've been helping them not only with financial aid or business aid to help them carry on or relocate them, but also we've offered to take any members of their staff or their families as refugees. We've had many offers from our members and indeed from our own staff to take in refugees when necessary. So
that is amazing.
We've helped in that way. And also just projects. I got sent pictures last night. We purchased in Ukraine. They have a lot of refugee camps, as you can imagine, but they've not got the equipment. They've not got the tents. They've not got the heaters. They've not got the camping stoves to cook on, and they don't have the sleeping bags. So we purchased a load of tents that have been delivered and cooking stoves, and also a huge amount of material to an all Ukrainian woman volunteer factory that's making sleeping bags. So we have pictures of them taking our materials and sewing and making the sleeping bags for the refugees. The pictures came in only yesterday. So we're all trying to do our little bit. It's a desperate situation for a lot of people. And those are just a few of the examples of things we've supported through the foundation for the Ukraine crisis. But I'm proud of the work we're trying to do to help, for sure.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. It's so nice to hear, and it must be so refreshing for you to be able to help like that. And yeah, it means a lot to so many people. So yeah, keep doing the great work. That's lovely. And obviously, if here at CCL, if we can do anything to help, then yeah, let us know. And if you could send us the pictures, it'd be really lovely to see those. And yeah, kind of be able to visualize to other people, the efforts and the help that is going on out there. So
I think that's really important. And as I've been running this, I suddenly thought last night, as I was talking about technology, I said, I've been really slack on putting all this stuff out on social media and immediate channels, which I should be doing, because it'll help generate more donations to help further.
And actually, Dan, we'll make sure that we put on this video where people can go if they do want to kind of donate to the WCA Foundation to help people in the Ukraine crisis. So yeah, it sounds like you're doing an absolutely amazing job. So yeah, it's really, really lovely to hear.
And just one final word on that. I just want to give credit to all our members who are also doing amazing, separate from us, amazing amounts of good work and compassionate work with the refugees. So yeah, it makes me appreciate what a great group of people we have in this network.
Absolutely, yeah. I can see that, and it's to be able on CCL TV to be able to share that. That's why it'd be great to have those pictures and try and spread the word and help even more. Then, if that's the little bit that we can do, then we'd love to get involved as well. Now, how do you think an organisation like CCL could take advantage of what WCA has to offer?
Well, I think, if you spoke to Rudy, I think they certainly have taken advantage of what we offer over the years. He's been a long-term member, a very popular member of the network. Have participated regularly in the conferences, so have been very visible in the group. And I'm sure CCL wouldn't want me to know directly how much or no money they've made from connections in the group. I'm sure it's played some role to some degree in the success of CCL. But I think going forward with CCL's specialty really in what you do especially in the e-commerce area. I've spoken to Rudy about, CCL and some of other members who have very experienced in the area and really very knowledgeable to help us become that driving force. So we need to learn as much from you guys as you need to benefit from the advantages we can supply, because it's a perfect synergy. And
for other custom clearance brokers and wholesale 3PL solutions.
Exactly. So it's all about us learning from our members and then devising the benefits and products and groups and chat forums and financial benefits that can really benefit that group. But we can't do it without talking to our members and learning from the members who are most successful. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident, hope CCL will remain at the vanguard and at the forefront of our e-commerce group going forward. Rudy regularly emails me with ideas and new information, and I send him back stuff that we're doing and how it could help. So it's keeping those communication lines open and pushing forward, because the last thing probably CCL wants is the world of e-commerce to be dominated by a handful of huge multinational companies that are a little bit faceless, and then you lose the specialisms of the smaller and medium-sized companies that can really can't work on that scale, but can provide great customer satisfaction and a host of other things that you can't do in a company of that size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the personalisation of it all when it's kept there. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Now, Dan, on to our last question, which you have faced before as previously coming on to CCL TV. It's the if you were stranded on a desert island question. So last time we spoke to you, you told us about your love for Massive Attack. So I'm not going to go back to that one. What I'd like to know is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what prized possession would you take with you?
Oh my goodness. I mean, people will probably come up with something quite inventive. Other people would tell the truth and they would say it's my phone, because that's what I do 8 hours a day is I'm on my phone, either surfing social media or whatever. Prized possession. Well, I do have a couple of things. I'm a big rugby fan, Bristol rugby fan, and my great-grandfather played briefly for Bristol. But I do have a number of signed shirts from my favourite players over the years that mean a lot to me. I wouldn't want to ever lose them, because they hold great memories and keep that tie to my roots back in Bristol. So I would probably take all my memorabilia from Bristol Rugby Club with me to remember what fun I had playing rugby as a younger person, which I did till I was around 26, 27, but also the fun I've had going to games and hanging out with my friends and that sort of thing. So if it's a desert island, I can look at that and remember the good times whilst I'm trying to scrape around finding something to eat.
Would you wear the shirts or would you keep them kind of framed to look at?
Maybe 6 years ago, when I was probably 20 kilograms lighter, I could have put them on. But now, I don't think I can.
You can. They'll give you inspiration.
Yeah. I might have to sew a sort of one of those expansion aside, then I could wear it. But right now, it seems unlikely that they would fit as well as I would hope.
Well, I think after a couple of months on a desert island, they might be fitting.
Well, that's true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really, really lovely to see you again, and we can't wait to see you again in Dublin. We'll have lots more to catch up on. Good luck with WCA Foundation as well, and obviously, like I said, if we can help, let us know. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you again in Dublin.
Perfect. Yes, I will do, and I'll send you those photos, and hopefully we can catch up and have a pint of Guinness.
Brilliant. Yes. Thank you so much. Cheers, Dan.
Excellent. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.